Hello and welcome to Drunk on Tea. Today I'm going to show you how I quickly painted up this Imperial Guardsman for Warhammer 40,000. So to start off with, I've primed the model with a Zenithal Prime, which is 3 colours, to give us some undershading effects, which is the real basis of this painting method. So first of all, I came in with some Chaos Black spray and primed the model all over. And then with some Mechanica Standard Grey, I sprayed from the front to catch most of the raised areas. And then with some White Scar, I did a spray down from the top just to highlight the most raised areas. So this has given us this 3-tone prime to work from with the rest of our colours. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm coming in with some Creed Camo contrast paint. I'm going to paint all of the fabric with this colour. You want to be nice and neat and try not to get this over any areas that we don't want to be this colour. So take your time, work your way around the model and apply some Creed Camo to all of the fabric areas. So it's things like the trousers and his jacket, and don't forget the little bit around his neck as well. Catch all of this with some Creed Camo. And with the Creed Camo applied, that's most of the fabric on the model painted in one go with some depth already applied. Next I'm coming in with some Militarum green, and with this I'm going to paint all of the armour. So it's the helmet here, his shoulder pads and his little bit of body armour, as well as the knee pads on his trousers as well. Once again, be nice and neat, try not to get this over anything that we don't want to be this colour, and just work your way around and pick out all of the armour plating with a coat of Militarum green. Militarum green applied, that's all of his armour panelling painted up. So next I'm coming in with some Black Templar contrast paint, and for this I'm going to paint all of the straps, his boots, anything that's going to be metal, and the casing to his gun as well. This is going to give us a solid colour to work off of for the metal areas, and it's going to give us that deep black colour for everything that we want to be black. So be very careful with this one, because this will affect any other colours that we lay on top of it later. So try and keep it just to the areas that we want, such as these straps here going down his back, and any other bits of strapping or grenades anywhere on the model. So this is a custom colour scheme for my own regiment for the Astra Militarum. If you would like to know some more details about the regiment and a bit of the backstory I've created, let me know in a comment down below, and maybe I'll make a lore video about this regiment. And then finally, make sure you catch all of the gun. So that's the casing and anything that's going to be metal, because this will just give us a solid colour to work off of for the later colours we'll be adding to his rifle. Be very neat around things like his hands here, because you don't want to get any of this Black Templar over those areas. And with that applied and those colours blocked in, there is only a couple more base coats that we're going to have to apply. So next I'm coming in with some Snakebite leather, and for this I'm going to paint everything that I want to be leather. So it's all of his pouches hanging around his waist, these parts here on his boots, as well, catch these with some snakebite leather, and all of his backpack as well, except for the bedroll on the top. So just carefully work your way around and pick out all of these areas with some snakebite leather. There are quite a lot of pouches on this model, so just take your time and make sure you pick them all out with a bit of this contrast paint. With the backpack, be nice and neat. Don't want to get this over any of the green colours we've already painted, but just pick out all of the rucksack with some snakebite leather. And with the snakebite leather applied, you can see it's given a nice leather looking effect to all of these areas. So now I'm coming in with some Guilliman flesh. I'm going to apply this all over the skin. So be nice and neat at this stage. You are just painting a couple of small areas. Just catch his face and his hands with some Guilliman flesh. With that one applied, there's just one last contrast paint that we're going to apply, and that will be for the bedroll on his back. So for this, coming in with some Cygor brown and just catching all of that bedroll with a coat of brown. And with that bedroll painted, that's the final contrast paint applied. So now it's just a couple of standard base paints to pick out some of the details. First of all, I'm coming in with some Caliban green, and with this I'm applying it all over the casing to the gun. So just work your way around, covering all of that gun casing with a coat of Caliban green. This may take 2 coats to get a solid cover, but just take your time. Paint all of the gun with some Caliban green. With the green applied, the gun's now got its Astra Militarum look. So next I'm coming in with some Celestra grey, and for this I'm just going to paint any of the Aquila logos. So there's this one here on his helmet, and there's also one on the gun as well. So be nice and neat and catch both of these with a couple of coats of Celestra grey. And then once that Celestra grey is applied, the last thing to do is to come in with some lead belcher and just paint the metallic parts. So it's the bits on the gun here, like the magazine and the muzzle, and any buckles that are on the model as well. And with that lead belcher applied, that is all of the base coats applied to the model. So next step, we're going to do a little bit of shading on some of those base coats we've applied. So I'm coming in with some Nuln oil, and for this just applying it all over those 3 colours. So the Caliban green, the lead belcher and the Celestra grey. Try not to get this over any of the contrast paints that we don't want, although you can put a little bit over some of the Black Templar, just to add even more definition to some of those black areas.
If you're enjoying the video, please press like. If you want more videos, press the subscribe button and ring the notification bell.
And with that shade dried, it has added some definition to those base paints that we applied to the model. So first of all, I'm coming in with some Abaddon black, and I'm going to paint in the eyes. So for this, be nice and neat, find that eye slit in the model and put a little bit of thinned Abaddon black into that eye socket. And then I'm coming in with some white scar, putting another line within that black we just applied. To be nice and neat at this stage, don't want to catch this over any of the other face. And then finally coming back in with some Abaddon black, and I'm putting a vertical line in the middle of that white scar, which will act like a pupil. So that's the eyes on the model painted. So next I'm going to highlight the Aquillas. So I'm coming back in with some white scar again. I'm just giving an edge highlight to any of the raised areas on these Aquillas. So it's the feathers here around the sides, a little bit on the top of the skull, and the same with the one on his gun. That's the Aquillas highlighted. So the next step is I'm going to highlight his rifle. So I'm coming in with some Warpstone Glow for this. I'm just going to do an edge highlight all the way around all the raised edges of the casing to his rifle. Just want a nice thin line of Warpstone Glow as an edge highlight all the way around. With that Warpstone Glow applied, let's make that casing to the gun pop out a little bit more. So now I'm going to highlight the bedroll. So I'm coming in with some Gorthor Brown. And once again, just doing an edge highlight on any of the most raised areas of this bedroll. So it's these folds here around the edges. Get a thin line of Gorthor Brown, and any creases or folds that are on the rest of the bedroll as well. So I find with these edge highlights, it really helps make these contrast paints pop just a little bit more. Next I'm coming with some XV88. I'm going to highlight the leather. So once again, this is just an edge highlight all the way around the sharpest edges of anything that's leather. Just catch all of it with a thin line of XV88. So it's all the way around the backpack here, any of the pouches, and these little guards on his boots as well. Just catch all of that with an edge highlight of XV88. So this method is a very quick way of painting up a lot of Astra Militarum models very quickly. You can paint a whole squad of 10 in just a couple of hours using this method. And with that leather highlighted, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the camo pattern that's on the fabric. So first of all, I'm coming in with some Zandri dust, and I'm going to apply in little scratchy thin lines in a random pattern all over the fabric. So you don't want these to look too uniformed or too repetitive, but just work your way around, pick certain spots and put a scratchy little thin line of Zandri dust all over the fabric. This will help break up the shape a little bit, but without actually ruining the shape of our model. So this is a very quick method of painting camo. So next I come in with some Mournfang Brown, and for these I also just put random little scratches all over that fabric as well. These can go over the previous ones, right next to them, intersect with them, it really doesn't matter. You want this to look as random and almost as messy as possible. So just pick random spots all over and put more thin lines of Mournfang Brown. And with that Mournfang Brown applied, there's now a camo pattern all over the guardsman's uniform. And now I'm coming in with some War Boss Green. I'm just going to do an edge highlight on some of this fabric as well. Sort of here around the cuffs Any really sharp folds or anything like that, just catch with a really thin line of War Boss green, just to act like an edge highlight and make that uniform stand out a little bit more. Don't worry if you end up going over some of your camo lines a little bit. It really all just adds up to help create that camo pattern all over that uniform. So this method is a very quick way of painting up Imperial Guardsmen ready for the tabletop. So you can paint an entire squad or army really quickly using this method, to allow you to get lots of troops on the table in just a few hours. And with that War Boss green applied, that's most of the model highlighted. There's just one final step left to go, and that'll be to highlight the metal. So for this, I'm coming in with some Stormhost silver. I'm just going to put an edge highlight on any of the metallic areas. So things here around the gun, around the magazine, anything that's silver, just catch all the edges with some Stormhost silver. And with that applied, that is an Astra Militarum Guardsman painted up. So let me know in the comments below what's your favourite Astra Militarum regiment, and also if you would like to hear a lore story about the regiment I've created. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy painting!